Hello and welcome to another edition of the Nerf Report, or as my parents like to call it, the greatest gaming news show on the YouTube. That's right, episode 39 of the Nerf Report is here, which means we're one away from episode 40, but more importantly, 13 episodes away from the 1-year anniversary, the 52nd episode of the Nerf Report. And personally, I am extremely excited about that episode. We've got some big things planned. So, if it's your first time here, welcome. My name is Brian Chappelle. I am the host of the Nerf Report, and we've got a jam-packed episode of gaming, geek, and nerd news coming right at you. This week, we found out that Twitch is more popular than CNN. U.S. government officials declare war on Lootboxes. Spyro the Dragon is making a comeback, and we begin our search for the world's greatest gamer for the week of February 12th. Prepare yourselves, because this is the Nerf Report.
Are you listening? Damn. Yeah. Yeah.
This week, the streaming platform Twitch broke another record and started to usher in what I like to call as the death of modern-day media. In fact, according to an article on StreetInsider.com, for the month of January, Twitch's average concurrent viewership hit 926,000 viewers. That is up 22% from January 2017, but more importantly, when compared to media juggernauts like MSNBC and CNN, when Twitch averaged 926,000 viewers, MSNBC averaged 885,000 viewers, and CNN averaged 783,000 viewers. Twitch's viewership for the month of January, while impressive, still does not beat out Fox News or ESPN, who averaged 1.5 million viewers for the month of January. Twitch was founded in June of 2011 after it was spun off from Justin.tv and was acquired by Amazon in 2014 for $970 million. Twitch has grown its live streaming platform from just video games to being a platform that includes pro wrestling, talk shows, podcasts, news shows, cooking shows, roller derby, esports, social eating, and private music jam sessions. And honestly, the reason I think that Twitch has been so successful with growing their audience year after year is with more and more homeowners beginning to cut the cord and cancel your traditional cable subscription services. They're looking for free content. They're looking for brand new content to consume. And if you don't believe me, in 2017 it was reported that nearly 22 million US adults will cut the cord and cancel cable subscriptions. And by 2021, that number is suspected to hit 81 million people, thus ushering in what historians will call the death of modern-day media. Quick question. Do you think you're the world's greatest gamer? Well, if you answered yes, this next segment is for you. Get Good, the search for the world's greatest gamer. This episode of Get Good is brought to you by Jim's Pizza and Wing Emporium in Boise, Idaho. If you're in the Boise area, use promo code GETSAUCED for 10% off any order. This week's Get Good Moment of the Week comes in the form of PlayerUnknown Battlegrounds. Gamer Rob113 captured this amazing moment, and before you're sitting at home being like, oh, I know how this is gonna end, trust me, you have no idea.
Yep, Josh.
Where?
They're behind the blue. On the right. 25. He's dead. One left. So separate party. He died instantly.
Hey guys, you go ahead and kill me. It's just me left.
What
yeah,
the f?
Yeah, you can go ahead and kill me. I don't care.
You're amazing, dude.
I made it all the way. Actually, Neil, I'm just gonna die from the wall. So
I'm actually impressed.
By far, the most impressive part of this video is not the awesome duo skills of Josh and Rob, but it's the self-sacrifice of the half-naked man who survived 97 other players, made it into the final top 3 with no gun, no helmet, no armor, and no backpack. And when the moment came for him to attack and spring on his enemy, he just humbly said,
You can go ahead and
What?
kill me, I don't care.
And that is why you, half-naked man, are the first ever recipient of the Nerf Report Get Good Moment of the Week. If you think you're the world's greatest gamer, or just want to see your clip featured as the Get Good Moment of the Week, check out how to submit your content in the description down below. Following the insane success of the remastered Crash Bandicoot collection, it looks like Sony might be trying to catch lightning in a bottle one more time. But this time with gaming's favorite Purple Dragon. According to an article on Kotaku, the trilogy remaster, much like the highly successful Crash Bandicoot Insane Trilogy, features new assets, lighting, animation, and cinematics, as well as a remastered soundtrack. The remaster will include Spyro the Dragon, Ripto's Rage, and Year of the Dragon, and there is a tantalizing promise of some content cut from the original releases of those games. The Spyro Remastered Edition will be announced for the PlayStation 4 with PlayStation 4 Pro support sometime in March of 2018, and will be releasing in Q3 of 2018. Just in time for the 20th anniversary of the original launch of Spyro the Dragon. The last Spyro game that we received was The Legend of Spyro: The Dawn of the Dragon, and before you get angry, I know somebody out there is going to be like,
No, Skylanders was actually the last Spyro game that we got.
and I'm here to say, no it's not. Get at me, bro. Man, loot boxes have had a tough year, and we're only 2 months in. I mean, loot boxes are like the Logan Paul of gaming. You know, just when you think they've learned their lesson and they're on the right track, they do something so stupid that you're just like, guess you didn't learn your lesson, did you? Well, this week, multiple members of the US government have set their eyes on loot boxes in hopes to regulate them and protect our children. Because it's all about the children. This has nothing to do with EA ruining Star Wars. State Representative Chris Lee of Hawaii submitted 2 bills this week targeting loot boxes. One of which that would prohibit the sale of any game featuring loot boxes to children under the age of 21. And the other would require video game publishers to prominently label games containing such randomized purchase systems, as well as disclose the probability rates of receiving each loot box reward. Senator Maggie Hassan of New Hampshire reached out to the ESRB, or the Entertainment Software Ratings Board, to have them re-examine how games with loot boxes are rated. The prevalence of in-game microtransactions, often referred to as loot boxes, raises several concerns surrounding the use of psychological principles and enticing mechanics that closely mirror those often found in casinos and games of chance. I also urge the board to examine whether the design and marketing approach to loot boxes in games geared toward children is being conducted in an ethical and transparent way that adequately protects the developing minds of a young child from predatory practices. Now, it's important to point out here that Representative Chris Lee's bills would only affect the state of Hawaii, but the fact that senators, representatives, and politicians are talking about loot boxes reflects the global stage and the global vision of loot boxes. Countries like the Netherlands and Belgium have already launched similar investigations into loot box practices, and who knows, this could lead to stricter regulations similar to the ones in Australia, China, and Japan. Now, the biggest question of them all is, why does this matter? Well, microtransactions and loot boxes are a big part of how gaming publishers and developers make money. In fact, in 2017, Activision, the publisher of Call of Duty, Overwatch, and Destiny, reported that $4 billion in earnings came from loot boxes, sales of DLC, and in-app purchases, of which nearly half came from Candy Crush, which generated $2 billion from in-game purchases. Even EA, the publisher of Star Wars Battlefront 2, reported that in its last quarter, it generated $787 million in live services. During an investors call, Ubisoft said that they've made $318 million in player recurring investments, i.e. microtransactions, in the last 9 months. So if the government were to put stricter guidelines or regulations on loot boxes, this would change the gaming landscape forever. Because like it or not, microtransactions and games as a service is pretty much the future of gaming. Publishers and developers moving to games as a service has already been confirmed by Ubisoft, EA, Activision, and Take-Two. And before you shoot this down, you better believe that Red Dead Redemption and Anthem, two of gaming's most anticipated games, will all feature live services. And finally, we come to the world's favorite segment, nerfed in 60 seconds. The rules of the game are simple. Every single week we have so much news to talk about and so little time to do it. So we take all the week's remaining news, put 60 seconds on the clock, and try to cover it as fast as humanly possible without running out of breath, passing out, or dying. I'm like Han Solo doing the Kessel Run in 60 seconds. So with that in mind, let's put 60 seconds on the clock and go. THQ Nordic announced plans to acquire Studio Deep Silver, and I for one am hoping we get a brand new Saints Row game out of this, because those last two were not good. Five Nights at Freddy's, the movie, has finally had a writer and director assigned to it in the form of Christopher Columbus. If that name sounds familiar, he is the patron saint of the Nerf Report for everything he did on Mrs. Doubtfire. For those of you hoping that Monster Hunter Worlds might make an appearance on the Nintendo Switch, well, Capcom shut down those hopes this week. Bungie introduced a brand new Valentine's Day event in the form of the Crimson Days for Destiny 2. We got a trailer for Incredibles 2. PlayStation VR now costs $199. Friday the 13th hints at a brand new single-player mode. Pokemon Go introduces the Year of the Dog. American Horror Story producer Ryan Murphy signs an exclusive contract with Netflix. Evil Within has a brand new first-person shooter mode, and the Overwatch Pro League welcomes its first female player in the form of Kim Seon. Welcome to the league, my friend. And that is it for this week's episode of the Nerf Report. If you like what you saw, please give us a thumbs up. More importantly, share it with your friend. If you're new here, subscribe to the channel. That always helps. And as always, my name is Brian Chappelle. You are you, and this has been the Nerf Report. Thanks for watching.